Hey, how are you? So I wanted to touch on something that's circulating, I suppose. I really don't want to keep going over politics, but today I really want to focus on this idea of entitlement. And it's I think it's gone beyond this generation. You see, when I was growing up, we had to earn what we were given. I was raised on a very small farm. We, it was just me, my dad, and my younger brother. And we had to have the animals fed, the house cleaned. There were gender roles in my house. My brother got to do a lot more than I did. He was younger, but my brother will tell you, my dad used to say, it's because she's a girl that I couldn't do certain things. And sometimes I resented it, but I wouldn't change a thing from my childhood. My dad was a very stern man, but he was a good man. He was very strict. And let me tell you, I tested his limits. I really did. But it made me who I am. And he was lenient on a lot of things. But the generation that I came from, we had to earn what we did, what we got. We didn't go into the store and see kids crying and throwing fits. We didn't go to restaurants and see these kids screaming. I remember going grocery shopping, and I did the majority of it, even at a very young age. And most of it was my dad training me. I would do most of the shopping, but he would walk behind me. And I remember my brother walking off, and I would start to get angry and frustrated with my brother and tell him, come back here, we're busy, get back over here. And my dad would tell me, leave him alone. And I remember this one time, my brother started getting panicky. He was maybe 4 or 5 years old. And my brother started getting panicking because he couldn't find us. And my dad told me, step back into the aisle where, at the end of the aisle where he couldn't see him. And my dad said, I'm going to teach him a lesson. And he was going to teach him a lesson, and my brother started to well up with tears. And back in this time, people could correct your children without anybody saying anything. And so these ladies were looking at my brother, asking if he was okay. And my dad was standing there, and he would poke his head out and be like, shh, And so these ladies were like, oh, okay, like he's fine. As soon as my brother started crying, my dad leaned out of the aisle and he was like, hey. And so my brother turned around and he came back with his head down. And that's how we learned our lessons, was fear. And my brother didn't walk off again. That's how we learned our lessons. And these kids today, right away, they start crying and their parents want to give them toys and bribes and all this other stuff. And that's not the way to do it. And then you have these things today where if the kid starts crying, here, let me give you this. Here, let me give you that. And so they've grown up thinking that all they have to do is throw a fit and they get what they want. So that's what this world has turned into. Let's just throw a fit and let's stomp our feet and we're going to get what we want. And how's that working out for you? We have these kids in school who say, oh, I want my headphones on. Oh, I want my phone. Oh, I'm going to tell my mom. I'm going to tell my dad. And then these parents go running to school and they throw a hissy fit because, oh, you told my kid something. You can't even go into the grocery store anymore and see kids wreaking havoc to the employees and say something because right away I'm going to call the police. And now you have Child Protective Services coming in and telling you how to raise your own kids. That's wrong. It's way beyond wrong. And so now we have all these protests in the cities. And then you have these kids saying, well, I don't want to be a girl. I don't want to be a boy anymore. And you don't have the guts to tell your children no. Got bugs crawling all over me because I'm on the grass. And I've always said, if your kids don't hate you at least once or twice, you're not doing your job. It may be hard, but it's your job to correct your children. The Bible tells you, spare the rod and you spoil the child. It is your job to be firm. It is your job, parents, to correct those kids. It is your job to not be their friend, to be their parent. If you guys think that your job is to be their best friend, you're wrong. You are doing them more harm than good. And then you want to give them things. You want to give them cars. You want to give them phones. You want to give them all kinds of stuff that they didn't earn. And then they throw a fit when you take it away. I can't tell you how many times I have cut off the internet. I have broken phones that I paid for, my husband and I paid for, and not given it back because my son didn't deserve it. And he threw fits. And you know what? That's too bad. I did not buy my children cars. Not until they were old and, not old, but old enough and deserved it. My older son did not graduate. He didn't get a car. He didn't get anything. My younger son, and I'm not playing favoritism here, but he graduated. His father died. He almost failed 8th and 9th grade when his dad died. But he sat down and he brought all his grades up and graduated with good grades. I didn't buy him a car, but I would if I could have. And my older son said that it was because I was babying him. No, sweetheart, I did not baby him. But you had your father. They had different fathers. But you had your father. And I want you to know that it is tough being a parent. It's even tougher being a single parent. And it's tough being a tough parent with tough love. But it's your job. Get over it. Your kids will survive. They will live. And it is your job. And if you're not doing it correctly, your kids are going to grow up and be this entitled generation that thinks that everything should be handed to them. Make your kids grow up to be good citizens. Make them have respect for elders. Make them get up for somebody who needs a seat. Make them open the door for older people. It is your job. Teach them right. Because if you don't, it is your fault. I love you guys. Have a great night. God bless you.